It just went live when you said that. Sorry. Why isn't it playing the video? Oh, I think I pushed the wrong one.
So yo, monkeys, it's me, DDP, Diamond Dallas Page. And you, monkey, you're listening to the Potsy and Tino show. And that's not a bad thing, monkey. That's a good thing. Bang! Yo, monkeys.
No, hi.
Yo, monkey.
What the hell is going on?
You don't know how to work the show?
Apparently not.
At least they can hear us.
I hope so. I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know what just happened there. We're live. We'll be on in a second.
Rob don't know what he's doing.
I don't know what's going on because normally I just hide the banner and we're good. Oh, there we go. All right.
What the fuck just happened?
I don't know. You want to start over?
Okay. We'll be back.
We're gonna use a different intro.
Hey, I'm David Arquette, WCW champion. You're listening in the Potsy and Tino show.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network brings you the tag team champions of the world, the Potsy and Tino show. That's right. He's Tino Gray. I'm Rob Potsy Potcheck. We're here this week.
He's fired.
What's that?
You're fired.
Yeah, I know. I'm no longer the video editor on our own show. That I have to do all of that because Tino just doesn't want to.
I don't know how.
I've told you I'll teach you so that you can run shows when I'm out of town or anything else. I've told you I'll do it.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Although now with all this stuff actually on this side, it's actually very easy to do when you're not putting up other things on the screen and then doing it at the same time.
Okay, I might do it.
Yeah. So all right. Our theme song, as always, is brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called the Wrestling Song. From Adam's House Cat. So JCB for life is our buddy Jaden, who we met at DPW.
Cool.
With his dad Rick.
Welcome to the show.
So he's actually a wrestler for his school, and he had me record an intro video just like David Arquette recorded for us for his event that they're doing, which I thought was pretty cool. Hopefully you guys liked it. Thank you about the haircut. Yeah, it's I wanted it to look like the little dude on the picture. It looks more like it right now, doesn't it? Tino's like, yeah, it does. We got a pretty big show tonight. Just because of like what's been going on like with me. I don't know what's been going on with you.
Okay.
But also got Clash at the Castle coming up this weekend. We had NXT at the UFC Apex last night. Great show, by the way.
Yeah.
Really good show. But before we do that, we always start the show. Let's see if I can find the banner now. Here, let's put the ticker up. There we go with the ticker.
The results.
And we always like to do a little what's up with you. So Tino, take it away.
Right now I'm trying to find the results from last night. Okay. What's up with me? Damn. Last week, we didn't do a show last week.
We didn't.
You had something going on, right? Which worked out well because, Thursday before last, I brought Mom home.
How's she doing?
She's doing much better now.
For those that weren't here last week, Tino's mom had a
car accident.
Yeah.
Well, I was back the day before Mother's
Day. The holiday,
so it's been a while. But so yeah, she's been with me about a week, a little over a week. She's doing good. My sister came Sunday with my nephew to surprise her. So it was good that we didn't do the show last week because everybody was there. So just been chilling with Mom and my sister all week, running around taking her to doctor's appointments and blah blah blah. And then Saturday went to Hickory, had a show. That was phenomenal. We had a good time. And then back here, picking up Haley from the airport tomorrow, Haley and AJ, because Matthew's graduating 8th grade on Wednesday.
A graduation for 8th grade.
They have 5th grade graduation and 8th grade.
I know, but do you remember what we got?
Nada.
12th grade. We got graduation.
So
no participation awards for that.
So we're doing that. Then I take my sister back to the airport Wednesday. I take Haley back to the airport Thursday night. So, and then somewhat back to normal.
Jaden said he got a 97 out of 100 for his project for having that video.
What did you do?
I was just like, hey, it's Potsy from the Potsy and Tino show, and you're getting ready to watch the event that they were doing. It was like Clash at the Coliseum or something.
That's awesome.
It was a lot of fun. It was the first time I basically did a cameo.
And he didn't charge you for it.
Yeah, you see, he learned from us.
Good job.
Like
Good job. But that's other than that, pretty good. And I don't have anything up. Or my anniversary, 20 years.
Chris
Next
Merrick said now I'm famous.
You're right. So, and 20th anniversary next Wednesday, we're going to the Angus. And then
next Wednesday or this Wednesday?
The 19th, next Wednesday.
So next Wednesday.
We're going to the Angus, and then the 20th, Nicole leaves, and she's going to New York.
So the 19th is for anniversary?
Yep.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Did you need to get a reservation?
No, remember, I already got the reservation set. I was just asking if your mom was there. That would be cool to see.
She normally works Wednesdays.
But then you say it's like your dad's birthday or something, she probably wouldn't be there. I told you like last
his birthday is the 19th, but I think everybody's doing something on Sunday for it because it's Father's Day and and like me, the December 22nd and Christmas. So
I mean, I'll go and I'll ask for your mom. See what she's
like. Just say it's Kathy P here, and but she'll be upstairs. Yeah. So if you go up for a cocktail, obviously it's the Wild Turkey Lounge.
Well, our reservations for like 6:30 or something like that, I think. So
well, then maybe have a nightcap after having.
But they said we got to be there like 15 or 20 minutes early or something.
Yeah, so you got to be there at 6.
Yeah, so we'll get there about 6. So.
But then, like I said, after the meal, and I'm going to be talking with my mom tomorrow anyway, so I'll ask her if she's working next Wednesday. But my mom has been at the Angus Barn, which, by the way, those of you not in North Carolina, the Angus Barn is a
fabulous.
It's an amazing restaurant that is. It's a top dollar steakhouse. But they source their own meat. They actually raise the cows and everything else. So I mean, like,
I would take a second mortgage out of my house.
Depends. If Nicole's like my sister Shorty, then yeah. Because Shorty goes up there, orders 2 meals, a bottle of wine, a dessert, maybe a second dessert.
She probably won't do all that.
No. Nicole seems more.
She'll eat a meal. She'll probably want a dessert. She might get a glass of wine together. So,
but
I'm not worried about it.
But maybe just get the glass of wine after. If my mom's working, you go up and and then my mom can sit there and tell you all embarrassing stories. Although you've met my mom, like Nicole hasn't, I don't think.
I met your mom, your dad.
Yeah. So
remember having to carry your dad down the stairs. At Shorty's.
Dude, he's even worse now. It's so I've had a hell of a week.
Here we go. Let's go for it. It's your turn.
I won't say the second half of today just because it's not worth it yet. Like when I finally get resolution, I'll talk about that. But
excuse me.
But so Saturday we had the launch party for Immortal Ultraviolet #1. Which I'll show my cover on the air right here. Available in stores this Wednesday. And what I wanted to so Tino was talking about how I sent him a text message that said, "Hey, are you coming over for the show tonight, or are we doing it remote?" Go ahead, read it.
Let me read it.
Read it.
I read this. I'm like, dude, that sounds dirty.
And then he showed his wife, and she was like, "Yep."
And even my wife was like, "What the hell?" So this is the text I got. You coming over tonight? I have something you need to see and touch. What the fuck is that?
So now hearing it back, and the sultry voice that you use to say it, definitely sounds like I'm like, come on over, big boy, so you can touch this.
I didn't even read it, Nicole. I just showed it to her. She said,
So we did something for the first time, super cool, with my new comics that are coming out. We've done the Hall of Foil covers where it's a foil cover on both sides, but it's still paper.
Yes.
Right. We've done, you know, multiple variant covers. So we've done that. We've done the blank covers so that we can draw on the covers. But for the first time, we've done metal covers. And when I say they're metal, Tino, like the difference in weight between the regular comic and the metal cover.
When I picked it up, I was like,
yeah, he was like, what the hell? So this is the Immortal Ultraviolent metal cover. They retail for $99.99.
I think that's what probably people heard. If you heard me, I'm like, people gonna pay for that?
People gonna pay. Fuck, people gonna pay for that? And then, because for only the second time ever, Michael Adams, the co-creator of Zor, and I will be sitting at the same convention together, and we're actually sitting together this time. We made the Zor #3 metal cover. Now, by the way, Tino, there are only 8 of these in the world.
In the world.
That's
why you wouldn't let me open it.
There are only 7 of these in the world.
Because I was going to open and I was always taking.
Yeah, we don't want fingerprints on them. So the Zor, there's only 7 in the world, folks. And then the.
So every time you say Michael Adams,
yes,
it makes me laugh because it's my boss's name. So I'm like, what? Is he moonlighting?
No. So Michael, you know, I met him at San Diego a couple of years ago, and we talked about working on a book together, and obviously that became Zor. Well, the 3rd issue comes out the week after Heroes Con, but I've already got the copies. So I was like, hey, when I found out that we could do metal covers, I was like,
did that cost you guys to do a metal cover? You know what I mean?
Yes, I'm paying for them personally.
Okay.
And no, I won't say what I paid for them.
Off the air, I got
yes,
to know.
I might tell you off the air.
I got to know. I'm curious.
But they are $99.99. Here's the interesting thing about the show, though. You know how they grade comic books and trading cards and everything? So they're doing on-site grading this weekend.
Oh.
So I'm taking at least my personal ones, because out of the 8, there's only 5 Immortals available for sale, and there's only 4 Zors available for sale.
Right.
3 of each will be available at Heroes Con. Okay. So this weekend in Charlotte, which is the biggest comic con that there is.
So the ones that are getting graded, or just 3, period? Just
3, period. Okay. And here's why. So the way that I did this, I was like, okay, now that I know that we can do metal covers, you know, like literally like a 4-year-old sitting there getting his first box that he opens up, he throws the toy away and he just plays with the box, you know, like that. I'm sitting there, and as soon as I heard that, I was like, ooh, can we get a metal cover for me and one for the artist on both books, right? So then the publisher sat there and he goes, well, I want one too. So out of the 8 and out of the 7, there's only 4 for sale of Zor, because one is for me, one's for Michael, one's for Chris, the publisher. For Immortal, it's one for me, one for the other Rob, the artist, and one for Chris. And then 3 of them of each are going to be available at Heroes Con, and 1 available each. Well, no, 2 available of Immortal are on the website, and 1 available of Zor is available on the website and can be ordered right now if they're still available. They might have already sold, which I know you're thinking, $100, who the fuck's going to buy that, right? Because you actually said that, and they might have heard it. But here's the thing. There's only 7 and 8 available, right? So when we get to the show, since Michael's going to be there as well, I'm going to have Michael sign my copy. I'm going to sign his copy. We'll both have both signatures, get them graded, because when you look at these, the points could cut you. They literally are perfect edges. So these books should grade at the highest possible grade that they can give. Now, most comics grade at a 9.8 if they're in the best condition possible. Part of the reason why I'm not opening them, part of the reason why I'm not letting you open the bags. Like, those bags right there, compared to your normal comic book bag, are like $4 a piece.
Wow.
And the reason why is because I'm like, okay, it's a $100 book already. I'm going to put it in the best possible bag possible. So that right there is what they call a My Light, which basically doesn't allow UV lighting to hit it and actually wear out the covers. The board in the back of it is about twice as thick as the normal boards. And it also is something that actually is supposed to like pull out any moisture in the bag. So those comics right there are about, like, without being in a encapsulated container, they're about as secure as they can be. And then the way that I even bag them, there is almost no gap in anywhere in there. So they're about as perfect as they can be. And I do that because I'm a collector. Now, if we look at some of this stuff, thanks, Mr. Helios. Terrence is in the audience. Terrence, you want on the show? You can be on. Let's see. E. Gerber, My Light. That bag and board is worth just as much as the book. Those, yes. I think so. So normal comic book bags, you can buy 100 for like $7.50, right? Okay. And then the boards, it's like $15 for 100 of them. These, I think it was $25 for 25. Like, so I said it's a $4 bag. It's not. It's like $1 a bag, whereas normally the bags are like 7.5 cents. Okay. But it's still $1 a bag. Yeah. But the boards, I think I paid $50 for 25 boards. Wow. So you're paying $2. So you're paying $3 just for what you're putting the thing in. Compared to, like, you know, I've got the actual like hanging ones that you can buy, but those don't seal like these do. Those though are like $20 a piece just to put those in. Anyways, so this week I've got Heroes Con going down to Charlotte on Thursday morning after I go to get my oil changed and my tires rotated. Because, you know, you got, like, now that I have a new job, I got to sit there and actually like schedule that stuff and take the time off and do everything in the same days if I can. But yesterday I went over to Ruckus, was having a soda, ordered a pizza. Everybody else was drinking. I'm not, you know, whatever. No big deal. Order a pizza, drive home, get here, the air conditioning's out. And when I moved into the house, I told you, I was like, the one thing I'm scared about is the air conditioner going out, right? And the air conditioner's gone out at least once a year. It hasn't been a big deal yet, right? But normally I walk out to my circuit breaker and the circuit's like tripped. Mm-hmm. So I sit there, turn it off, turn it back on, air conditioning comes back on. We're normally good to go. No. So the inside unit's still blowing air, but it's blowing hot air and humid air. Mm-hmm. The outside unit didn't even turn it on. There's nothing, right? Now, the last time this happened is because somebody actually stole the little pull tab because it's got real copper in it. So they were like, fuck this, I'll just take that. And, you know, and they were actually thinking, let's take the entire unit because there's copper wiring on the inside of it, whatever. They didn't get that. They only got the pull tab, whatever. This time I walk out there, pull tab's still in there. Thing looks fine to me. I'm sitting there. I start looking online. I'm like, where's the reset button? There's no reset button on the model I have. So I'm like, great. It's not going to turn on tonight. Luckily, in North Carolina last night, it went down to 65. So I was able to open all the windows, let the air come in. It went from 78 to 76. And I slept down here on the couch because I turned that fan on high. And that fan is about 4 times faster than the one in my bedroom. Okay. And also, heat rises. Yeah. So about 5 o'clock in the morning, I wake up and I'm like, I'm cold. Walk upstairs, go up to my bedroom, go up to my bed. I'm hot again. You know, damn it, whatever. I called the air conditioning people today. I use Browns out of I think it's out of Carborough. They are amazing. They come out the same day. The guy that owns the place is actually a comic book collector. Nice. So of course I'm sitting there BSing with him about comics today, like while he's doing everything. But I'm like, okay, I gotta go get something done on my car because last week when I had some work done on my car, my horn stopped working. And I'm going to tell everybody right now, you never know how much you need your horn until you don't have it. I swear, I hit that thing so hard trying to get it to just come on that I thought my airbag was going to pop.
Oh, damn. Damn.
Because there literally was a guy doing like 22 miles an hour in a 55 zone. And I'm sitting there like, and there's nobody in front of him. Just passing. I couldn't because there's a truck on the other side. And you know how trucks are always going uphill, always slower. So this guy's just like, me. And I mean, it's backing traffic up at this point, you know? But I can't hit my horn. So I'm sitting there flashing my high beams and everything else.
Not that work for you.
It didn't, obviously. I don't think the horn would have worked very much either, but at least he would have heard it. So anyway, had to go get the horn fixed today, but also had to wait for the air conditioning people. So I called my mom. I'm like, hey mom, I hate to do this, but is there any way you can come over to my house and just sit and wait for the air conditioning people? Of course, my dad being handicapped, I'm thinking she's gonna have to bring my dad over. She's never gonna get him up those 2 steps.
No.
And those 2 steps are only this tall. They're not tall at all. Like,
you just call Dave.
I didn't even think about calling Dave. Like, because he doesn't do shit. Thanks for the setup there. But I didn't even. So of course my mom comes over here and like I have to leave to go do that thing because I got something that I have to be at 2:00. And I'm like, I'm so sorry for having to do this. She goes, just put your TV on CBS so I can watch my stories. Cool. And then all of a sudden I get a phone call. Hey, I'll be there in 5 minutes. The air conditioning guy's on his way. He's going to be here. I'm like, oh shit. Well, I might as well just wait for him and blah, blah, blah. That way I can pay for it and everything else. Because my mom's like, I brought my checkbook. And I'm like, I don't need your money. Like, I'm like, thank you, but I don't need it. Which is nice to say to your parents, you know, like, because oftentimes if they sit there, they're like, no, let me take care of it. I'm like, no. Anyways, so he comes and he basically goes, I walk, you know, I tell him, hey, I already checked the circuit breaker. I actually hit the circuit breaker on the other one because I thought maybe they were connected. They would both turn off, turn back on. That one, all of a sudden, my thermostat saying system waiting. And I'm like, oh shit, what did I do? You know, like, and it came back on. It's like system ready, whatever. But the air wasn't flowing. And I'm like, I guess getting out of shit in here. You know, so turning off all the lights, turning on the, you know, whatever. Go outside. And he goes, I think we're in good shape here. I'm like, oh, thank God. Because just so everybody knows, my actual air conditioning unit inside the house is jerry-rigged to like no end. But the first time that the air conditioning guy saw it, he goes, what the fuck did they do with this thing? Like, they rebuilt it, basically, is what it looks like. And it is probably about as old as the house. And that, like, this is a 1985 townhouse. Oh, wow. Okay? It's in good shape, though. Yeah. But the thing outside is obviously newer. It's just not new. So it's probably like 20 years old instead of 40 years old, whatever. So, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to speed this up, but he goes, I think we're in good shape. I'm like, oh, thank God. Because since I bought the house, the one thing that I knew is going to have to be replaced at some point is the air conditioning unit. Because one, they're not the same brand, so they're not efficient. And two, that thing is going to have to go at some point. Like, I just know it. So he's like, no, I think it's just going to need like a capacitor or something. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. How much would that be? $65. Okay, cool, whatever. And he goes, but you want to know why it did this? I'm like, of course I do. He goes, ants. And I'm like, what? So hear me out, folks. He literally says, there's something about magnetism, and the capacitor's basically creating an electrical charge, which creates magnetism. He goes, that is like a drug to them. And they just keep going to it. And it just zap,
killing
zap,
ants.
and it's killing ants, but it's leaving them in there. So at some point, it causes a surge, and it blows it out. So he said, I don't like to do inhumane things to any type of creature. So I don't like using bug spray. I don't like using, so I always try to find something else. But I keep one thing of ant killer and I take it out, and around around the air conditioning unit about 4 times a year. I spray. I'm like, well, that's interesting. Didn't know that. And then he starts telling me all this stuff about ants and termites and how the reason why he likes to keep ants around, because, you know, most people sit there and go, oh, I got ants in my house. And he doesn't want them in the house, but like around the house, he's like, that's perfectly fine. And the reason why is because they eat termites. The ants will actually kill and eat the termites. So he said when you actually have like Cleggs or Orkin or anybody else come out and you say you've got ants or you've got termites, they throw down wood chips covered in brown sugar, because the termites will be going after the wood chips and the ants will be going after the brown sugar, and the ants will eat all the termites.
Nice.
It's pretty crazy.
Did not know that.
Neither did I. So yeah, that's about what's been going on with me. Like I said, leave for Charlotte on Thursday. I'll be down there until Sunday. It's me, Billy Parker, and Michael Adams. Again, Michael's from Oklahoma, so it's the only time people can get their copies of Zor, all 3 copies, all 3 issues signed. We will have issue 3 there at the show, so you'll be able to complete the collection. Pretty excited about it.
Cool.
But I do have to say, with Zor, it's a little bittersweet, because, you know, like, it's over. 3 issues are done. They're going to be out next week.
You can't continue. So it's like there's no way to like continue it, or
well, that story is done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I'm glad you asked, because someone else asked me this yesterday. And yes, I do have 2 sequel ideas in mind, and I guess I could do both of them at some point if I wanted to, as long as Michael wants to be involved with it. If Michael's working on other stuff, I don't necessarily want to say, hey, we should totally just jump right into a Zor sequel. But you know, the one obvious idea is to just go bigger
Mm-hmm.
with the second story, right? So you still make it 3 issues or 4 issues or whatever, but you just make the consequence bigger,
Right.
You know? So like what happens and what causes Zor to get created. But then I also have this really cool idea to make like an opposite Zor named Roz.
Okay. All right.
And yeah.
All right.
I'll fill you in after the show. But like I said, we have a lot of wrestling to talk about, and I know that
we got the pay-per-view. Yes, a couple things we probably do.
I mean, we got to talk about behind the scenes stuff with a bunch of people. So, where you want to start?
McMahon's not allowed.
so you want to start with WWE stuff, huh?
I only saw that headline. I don't even know what that's about. So why isn't he allowed back in Titan Towers? What did he do? Are they still talking about the thing that he got sued for?
Yes, but when he relinquished all power and basically stepped down, he no longer has his access card or anything else.
Oh, so that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing that happens anytime. Like if you were the CEO of a company and all of a sudden you said, I'm stepping down for personal reasons or whatever, you're not allowed back in the building. Like you are through when you say your end date is, but with him it was effective immediately. So it was, you're done. You know, okay. and it's because the company's distancing itself from him. And Ari Emanuel, the guy who actually is above him, because they're the ones that own, I believe, WME, the agency that like does Hollywood agents, you know, and everything. I think they're actually the firm that owns TKO.
Mm-hmm.
So, or at least they run TKO. So he's the guy in charge. He's basically like, he's the guy that ran Harvey Weinstein out of Hollywood.
Gotcha.
And with him, like, remember, if he ran Harvey Weinstein out of Hollywood with all the backlash and negativity about like what he did, McMahon having this come out, like, you have to assume that a guy who was so adamant about getting Harvey Weinstein out of Hollywood was probably like, and this is in my bed.
He's got to go.
He gots to go. Yeah. And it really does seem like that's what happened. Ari Emanuel is the only guy that had more power than Vince McMahon in the entire company. And you have to assume that with that, he was like, you're ruining the brand that you created. You need to go away. And we obviously know that now Vince has also sold all of his shares of the stock, so he literally has nothing to do with it. Even all of the pundits and whatever saying, like Vince Russo saying that I believe he's still got power, bro. There's no power, bro. Okay. Just want to take a look at these real quick. Mr. Helio says he's watching from the shower. You don't want me on the show.
Don't want to know.
Yeah. Chris Barrett says our mutual friend, the great legend, swears by the fullback in the E. Gerber My Light. Yes. Talking about the bags.
Oh, okay.
You've the great legend's been on the show before. Magnets, how do they work? Chris Barrett. Ants mean no termites. Just like if you have mice, that means you don't have rats. If you have cats, you don't have mice. So yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. And we have feral cats outside, so it's perfectly all right. Well, when I say feral, they're perfectly nice cats. They live out there. Right. They've got their ear clipped and everything, so they've had shots and whatever. But anyways, do we want to talk about WWE matches or anything that happened last week? Anything catch your eye? Anything make you sit there and go, "Wow, that was good"?
I like AJ Styles internalizing his inner Mark Henry.
Well, that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
but we missed that. So yes, go ahead, talk about it. Because it's not a perfect replica, and I liked that about it.
Yeah, he wasn't wearing the salmon jacket.
Nobody was wearing pastel.
He was wearing pastel, and when he came out, I was like, he really is retiring, right? But when he called Cody out, I knew something was up.
Yeah. So when he came out in a pastel jacket, first of all, Mark Henry said, "I guess he couldn't find a purple one." What I liked about it was the fact that he brought out the OC.
Yeah.
And this is where it's different than the Mark Henry situation, is that he has backup.
And he had backup and said, if we're doing this one, if this is the last time we're doing it. And I'm like, it was, and he got emotionally. He was like, it's almost crying like Mark Henry. And then he's like, and he was giving people props. And he even started giving Cody his props, right? And then he came out and they had that whole little conversation. And I knew it always happens every time. If you're raising somebody's hand and you're turning to all four corners, he's about to close on the shit out of you.
So it's funny you say that, because Busted Open said the same thing. But here's what Bully Ray said about it. He goes, if I was doing this, I would have done it a little bit differently. Instead of lifting his arm up to all four sides, I would have gotten him on the second one. I'd have just flattened him after he did it, like on the second, because it would have caught people off guard.
Yeah, the first one, and then as he turned, hit him with it. Yeah.
I was kind of shocked that he didn't break Cody's nose with that Styles clash, because Cody's face hit the floor, man. And I was like, he pulled back like you're supposed to, but his face still went right off the ground. And I was like, man, Cody got a broken nose. He gonna be dashing Cody Rhodes again. You're slowly smoking mirrors. Oh!
That would have been funny if he came out with that mask doing that too.
Love the segment.
Yes, that was a good segment.
And the really interesting thing about it is that it was 2 weeks before the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no time to build. And then this week you got the rabid bulldog Cody Rhodes out.
All due respect. Pretty much shut the fuck up. Pretty much what he said to all this.
So there's something that I want to put to bed right now with that part of the segment, because they had the production truck right there, and it had Nature Boy Ric Flair's face on it, and everybody online is going, "Was this done on purpose?" No, you motherfuckers. No. Andre the Giant was on the other side of the truck. It's just a Legends truck, because then they don't have to keep replacing the pictures on it when people leave.
Yep.
Duh. Right?
Yeah, I noticed Andre. I thought it was just cool. I'm like, oh, it's Andre and it's Rick. But I didn't think anything like, oh.
Yeah, no. But online, people were doing that. And I was like, you just shut up. Just shut up. So we have a new speed champion, which leads into another statement.
Who beat him? I don't.
Andrade.
Okay, I don't watch it, so
Andrade beat Ricochet.
I don't know, but Samantha on X with the denim jacket and nothing else. I was like, oh, Ricochet, you lucky bastard, you.
Well, so all right.
A lot of people are saying it's fake.
We can talk about matches and stuff, but the important information to talk about tonight is Ricochet. Ricochet tonight on Monday Night Raw may be having his final WWE match. It's been talked about from Dave Meltzer to Wade Keller to everybody. Sean Ross Sapp.
He quit. He said he wants to be out, so just waiting for his.
Well, he did the same thing Moxley did. He said I have no intentions of re-signing, which I respect, but McMahon thought he could get Moxley to re-sign, and obviously John Moxley ran out his contract and then just got the fuck out. Ricochet's kind of doing the same thing, but Triple H looks like he's going to go to old school booking with this and just write him off TV. And that's been the rumor.
But then he still has to sit 90 days. So everybody's saying he's going to AEW, possibly, but does he have that 90-day?
Well, his contract's not up, so they're just not going to use him. They're just going to pay him, kind of like Dolph Ziggler. So Dolph Ziggler just kept waiting to be used and didn't get used.
So what I'm saying is, even if his contract is up,
no, wait. If it runs out,
okay,
it's like Adam Cole, where he can show up Monday.
So only if he get released, you got to wait 90 days.
Currently.
Okay.
However, that's non-compete clauses, which I think are now deemed illegal.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting. Like I think nobody's going to test those waters yet because the WWE continues. So to your point, when you get released by the WWE, and in case anybody didn't know this, what it actually means is you're getting released 90 days from then.
Okay.
So you're not actually released that day. You're just not going to, and that's why Heath Slater got used at that one point, because he was still under contract, so they could bring him back.
Okay.
It's just after 90 days, we have no intentions of using you at all.
Okay.
So you're gone after like we are exercising our right to end your contract 90 days from now. And that's because it allows them to write them off TV.
Do you still get paid through that 90 days?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why like everybody that talks about how like WWE was laying people off in like October. Like they were like, oh, these people are going to miss, they're not going to have a good Christmas. And first of all, they're paid extremely well. Like even the NXT people get housing and everything else because they don't get main roster money, right? So they get housing. But that's pretty awesome.
Okay.
Like if you didn't have to pay your house payment,
hell yeah.
Like how much money would you save?
Oh.
Exactly. So, but for everybody, so when they were laying people off in like October, they were getting paid till January.
So they had it, yeah.
Yeah. So like, and I think it was the end of October, so they got paid to the end of January. So it's not like they weren't okay through Christmas. And by the way, anybody that works for the WWE or AEW that's released from their contract, if it's done in this way, is gonna find work.
Yeah.
Are they gonna find their downside guarantee? Only if they do what these top people have done. Cody Rhodes sat there, literally said, I want to work here, I want to work here, I want to work here, I want to work this person, this person, this person. And what did he do? He worked every single one of them except for Roderick Strong, and Roderick Strong left after Cody Rhodes came back. Like, so he's the only guy he still hasn't worked with. So all these guys with that. The problem I have with Ricochet wanting to leave is this. He's prominent on WWE television. Is he main event? No. Will he ever get to main event? Probably not. He's 5'6", and he's what Triple H used to call a flippy flop guy.
We still have the same argument. Taller than Ray, and Ray's a flippy flop guy.
But Ray is the anomaly to the rule. It's like Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman is a great, fast, big man.
Okay.
But how many big men are fast? Right?
Okay.
So Keith Lee, same thing. Keith Lee is a big guy that's fast, and obviously he wanted to be 220 pounds. Keith Lee literally is like Artie used to be, where he thought he was the same size as Landis, my dog, but he was much bigger, and he would sit on her. You know, same thing. It's a good analogy. Yes, he was. I'm not saying Keith Lee was stupid. I'm just saying that size.
Oh yeah.
size differential. When I got Artie, he was this big. Landis was this big. Artie all of a sudden went to this big and still thought he was this big. That's it. The problem I have with Ricochet wanting to leave is, and I'm not even saying he's going to leave. He might take time off. He's 35 years old. He's probably got nagging injuries. He's actually said he hates doing that spin to get into the ring, into the superhero landing, because he says it hurts his back.
Why does he still do it? Did they make him do it?
No, it's what he's known for.
Okay.
So when you're getting the TV time, you're gonna do it because it's what people know you for. Like one of his moves that he did, I think, was actually a 630 splash. When he does that 630, he lands on his back and he lands like this over the other person. So he stopped doing that and made it a 450 splash, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's been safer, and I think what he's seeing when he looks at the indies, or he looks at AEW, or I do mean this when I say it about AEW, is that they're less safe, so he can high fly better than he's allowed to in WWE.
Okay.
It'll shorten his career.
Yes.
The guy's 35 years old. He's been wrestling 20 years already. He's been wrestling since he was 15.
Wow.
Which is insane at this. Like, Rey Mysterio is the only other guy that I know that did that. And I think he's 45 or 48 or whatever. So he's been wrestling over 35 years, whatever. But in AEW, he might get an amazing launch, but he's going to fall right into that same problem that they all do. I mean, Saraya. Where did she go? She was like the biggest signing they ever had.
There was talk about Becky going to AEW too. I don't think she'll go.
Well, Becky would not fall by the wayside. But would she work every week? I don't think so. I think what's actually going to happen with Becky Lynch, and so Ricochet, if anybody can get word out to Ricochet, the best move for him possible would probably be TNA.
Okay.
Might not be as much money as AEW, because AEW, but by the way, AEW is not going to throw Will Ospreay money at Ricochet.
No.
As much as they are the exact same person, they are not going to throw that extra money at Ricochet. Ricochet is going to be stuck in mid-card and have great feuds with Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, Roosh, whoever they want to put him with. He's going to have great matches, but he's just going to get lost in the shuffle. Okay. If he goes to TNA, I think he's going for their world title in a month. You know, and we just saw that. We saw that with Matt Hardy is going for the TNA world title. We just saw Ethan Page show up in NXT going for the world title. So I think if Ricochet really wants to do what's best for him, do New Japan, do TNA, but do not go to AEW. At least not at the beginning. Like, really make it to where Tony Khan has to put you in a top spot, because you're not in a top spot now. So why would you deserve a top spot in AEW? That's literally just saying that AEW's main event scene isn't as good as WWE's.
So you're saying
mid-card scene.
But so on the flip side, you said Becky would be better off if she went to AEW?
No.
Okay.
No, Becky would be better off if she stayed in WWE and started doing a part-time schedule. And I think that's what's coming. I think now that she's 30 something, mid to late 30s, she's a mom. Like, I would say, get as close to Brock Lesnar money as you can. Yeah. Get the Edge contract, where you only have to work 6 months out of the year, and you're only working TV. You're not even necessarily you're working big house shows, but you're not working all house shows. And collect that paycheck, main event another WrestleMania, do whatever you got to. But there's no, it literally is a step down for her to go to AEW.
Yeah.
So, but Chad Gable's contract apparently is already up, and he's working date to date.
But he's got a match coming against Sammy again.
At Clash of the Castle for a title.
Yeah. So,
Tino, my question to you is, with Chad Gable in this situation, all of AEW's money goes up Tony Khan's nose. Maybe Chris Barrett, but goes up his nose. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's either that or it's all whatever energy drink they're now. Woo energy. Yeah, he's just woo energy. But Chad Gable His contract apparently is up, and he's still working for them. He has that match against Sami Zayn. The question is,
they're going to put title on like his contract's up.
Correct. But my question to you is, could they swerve us all by having him still lose that match only to win Money in the Bank?
But
Like,
contract's up.
Well, no. So, okay. Rumor is Chad Gable has a excellent offer on the table to stay. And Chad Gable is one of the 5 best technical wrestlers in the industry. I don't care what anybody says. Like, it's true. It's damn true. You know I was going to do it. I mean, he is one of only how many Olympic athletes that are in the business? But he is one of the 5 best wrestlers right now. So do you let him go because again, he'll get lost in the shuffle in AEW. And right now he's in the best spot he's ever been in his career. And it's because Triple H had to fix him because of Vince McMahon's breaking him and breaking him and breaking him. So my question to you though is, let's say he signs. Right now everybody indicates that indication of him signing is he wins the title. Is it possible that he disappears off WWE TV and shows up as a mystery person, maybe even under a mask at Money in the Bank, wins the Money in the Bank, pulls the mask off and goes, "Thank you," and then all of a sudden he's now under contract when everybody thinks that he's leaving the company?
First of all, you put a mask on him, you're gonna know it sounds like putting a mask on Hogan, Mr. America. But
there's ways around that.
I hadn't thought about that.
There's ways around that. You put him in like a purple jumpsuit or something. You make it like a little fatty or whatever.
Yeah.
You have him climb. Now obviously you put anybody under a mask, it's gonna be like, who the fuck's under the mask? Like they don't have anybody under. Is that Axiom? So. I mean, that's like the only thing they could do there, right? So it's not like the Conquista Hardys or whatever.
That's interesting. But then all of a sudden you put him in a main event. Like, then you ask yourself, is Chad main event worthy?
I think as Mr. Money in the Bank, Chad Gable would be awesome, especially this new heel version of him.
Yep.
Where it could be like, Otis, go knock down Damian Priest.
Well, I think that's about the split too.
Of course it is.
But
and if Chad leaves, they're hoping that helps get Otis, Maxine, and Akira over.
Already over.
He is, and you're right. But the other two, well, Maxine's kind of over at this point. Like when she grabbed Chad's arm, that place exploded.
Yeah. So he wins Money in the Bank. Who's he face? You know what I'm saying? And does he
does he win?
Yeah, he loses. Does he cash in and lose?
And see, that's where I think the problem is right now nobody looks at him as a feasible main event world title contender, right?
He could be the next Kurt Angle, but I think he's not there yet.
I think he literally just has to go on a run where, like, it's like, where did this Gable come from?
Yes.
Interestingly enough, I just saw an interview with Gunther, and they asked, was Sammy the right guy to beat you? And he goes, I think there were a few. And it's interesting because he was very candid about him losing that title. He was like, I think there's a few. I think Chad could have done it. I think Sammy obviously could have done it. I think Jey Uso could have been the guy to do it. He said Sammy was the right guy.
Yeah.
And I don't think Sammy was the right guy, only because Sammy's already been there. He's now a 4-time Intercontinental Champion, and it's a consolation prize for when he was going after the undisputed title. Jey Uso would have been the right guy, because Jey Uso, they're trying to tell you he's a main eventer, but he never wins any main event matches, right? So against Gunther,
they're right. That's the way they're writing it. That's not Jay's fault.
Well, that's why everybody thinks that Jey Uso is the number one choice to win Money in the Bank, and then against a Damian Priest or whoever's got the title by the time Jay finally decides to cash in.
Apparently, Drew is next in line.
Well, I think Clash of the Castle is the perfect time to have him win. I do find it interesting that Piper Niven, who's also Scottish, is getting the women's title match, and I don't think she has any chance of winning. So, kind of interesting.
So they'll probably send the people home happy. Piper's not going to win.
Oh shit!
Drew might win it.
We need to do
predictions
on that.
All right, well, you go ahead. Raw, NXT.
Well, we can talk about the PLE.
Yeah, but first I want to say something about NXT. I'm so excited tomorrow because they're showing vignettes of Wendy Chu coming back.
But she looks crazy.
I'm waiting to see what I can do with Wendy with the blacked out eyeliner and then I just break the window. I'm like,
but yeah, she still looks super happy getting up out of bed, wearing her.
But when you see her face in the mirror, her whole face changes. I'm like, psh.
Yeah.
And is it me or I'm getting bored? When are they going to let the damn Uncle Howdy and everybody? I'm tired of the teases. I'm starting to lose interest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're dragging it too long.
They've been dragging it too long. I think honestly, I think what they're trying to do, because we don't even know if it's actually Uncle Howdy, right? It could be a whole new character set that's just, we know it's Bo Dallas, right? I think they're trying to separate it from the Bray Wyatt mystique without separating it from the Bray Wyatt, like giving it enough time to breathe on its own before they take over. Also, they've got so many other storylines going already that it's like, how do you and where do you chunk them in? You know, like, are they going to be on Raw? Are they going to be on SmackDown?
They're going to be face or heel.
Are they going to be face or heel? You know, so you got a lot of different cogs in that.
Yeah, I'm starting to be like, okay, here's another QR. Here's another on the screen. I'm like,
Gable should stay in the WWE's Kurt Angle's long lost son, which I always thought was funny that they actually made Jason Jordan the long lost son instead of Chad Gable. Chad Gable would have been a better Chad Angle.
So I'll look up the predictions for it.
But let's talk about the PLE.
Hold on. Go back to Raw. I missed that now.
Okay, we're still on there. I didn't change it.
The Bloodline. So now, Friday night, Paul Heyman came out and said, yes, until Roman gets back, Solo's in charge. He named, was it Tonga? I get him confused.
Tama Tonga
is the new
right-hand
man. And they mentioned there used to be Jey Uso.
Right.
And then the other one, I guess
Tonga Loa.
He's taken over the enforcer role.
Correct.
Which leads me to believe when Roman comes back, he's got to be with the Usos. It's got to be Jey again, the battle of the right-hand men. I would have to think that in Roman's bloodline, you're going to have the Usos. And I think they're going to bring the other little brother that I've been waiting to come.
Hikuleo.
No. The one that was under Booker T's. Remember, I said, is he?
Oh, yeah. Jacob Fatu.
So I think it's going to be Roman, the Usos, and Jacob Fatu.
Well, there's rumor that Hikuleo is also under WWE contract and is supposed to join the Bloodline. The Jacob Fatu one, like that should be a given. Mm-hmm. The question is whether or not it's gonna be The Rock as the overall final boss leader of this group.
Of which one though?
Of the new Bloodline.
The Roman Reigns one?
No, the new Bloodline.
Oh, got you.
And so the funny thing about it that I got asked the other day was this. Okay, let's say we do War Games.
Right.
You got The Rock, Solo, Tama, and Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, right? So you got them, the four, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you got Roman, Jay, Jimmy. Ideally, it'd be Sammy as your fourth, right? So the question that I got asked was this: is it going to be a bigger pop for Roman hugging Jey Uso, or is it going to be a bigger pop for Roman hugging Sammy? and see how you went from to all of a sudden, like you're in, aren't you?
Actually, I don't know, Sammy. I just don't think we need to bring Sammy into it.
If you're doing a 4-on-4,
you bring Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, but Jacob would be on the other side.
With Solo?
Yeah.
Why?
Why not?
I thought he'd come back with Roman.
Fuck no. No, it's the new bloodline.
So he can't have all. He can have Jacob and him. I'm just calling him Himalaya.
Well, you could have. You ready? Well, yes, they could, because The Rock isn't going to be there every week, and you could have 5 of them in 5 of them in the group. But here, so let's say Hikalea isn't part of it, right? You have The Rock, you have Solo, you have Tonga, and Jacob, right? So 5. So now the question becomes Roman, Jay, Jimmy, Sammy. Who's number 5? There's only one option.
Kevin, but I don't want Sammy in it though.
But you do want that hug.
Yeah, that hug would be nice, but I don't want Sammy.
You do it one night only.
All right.
You know, and that's why Kevin says for one night only, because I've been dealing with this other bloodline almost as long as I was dealing with that bloodline. I'm, like the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Wait. You don't put Sammy. You could have.
No, you put Sammy.
No, shut up. You could have Kevin. What about Orton?
No.
Because he's having trouble with the bloodline too.
He is, but you still do Sammy. Because Jay's the one that gets Sammy to say okay. And then Sammy's the one that gets Kevin to say okay.
I don't want Sammy, but okay.
For Survivor Series, one night only, you want it.
Don't tell me what I want. I just said I didn't.
I said you do. All right. Anyways, if The Rock doesn't show up, you put Hikalea in that position. You put that new bloodline against 5 others. Kevin and Sammy are the best 2 choices. Just saying. All right. Which one?
The
predictions or NXT?
NXT.
All right. So I will just put this on WWE PLE. We're going to talk about how NXT happened. They started
I was surprised that it started with that match.
I was not.
But it was. I mean, I maybe put it further down the card. I was surprised.
I thought that by making it first, it made the crowd hot.
Because it was a good match.
This
whole pay-per-view was fucking lit.
It was, and I guess the other side is because it was introducing a new title and everything. If it did go off the rails, having it first got it out of the way.
And it did not go off the rails.
It did not. There were a couple spots in it that I was just like, wow.
My favorite spot, though.
Go ahead.
Was Sol Ruka hitting the soul snatcher off the rope, then turn around and hit it off the ladder. I love that move. And she did it so smooth.
Well, the second one wasn't as smooth. And
off the ladder?
Yeah, and it got sold by whoever she did it to.
Yeah. I still thought it looked cool.
I'm always, with that move, though, especially off a ladder, if that ladder shifts, someone's breaking a neck.
Well, you notice when she went to do it,
there was someone on the other side.
Someone was acting like they were getting up, but they were kind of holding on to it so they didn't go.
I'm still happier with that than 2 referees holding that ladder in place.
And a couple of times when we're on the ladder, you notice that there's another one of the ladies was like kind of like, oh, like she's getting up, but you could tell she was trying to steady it.
Yeah. And I'm completely fine with that.
When all of them picked up old girl and threw her over that top rope under that ladder,
and they all just stared
and then waved at her. I'm like, oh, she did. Lash, they killed Lash.
Yeah, I did the right person go over Kaylani Jordan. That's
I can see it. I can see it. I really thought it was going to be Sol Ruka.
I did too.
But if it wasn't her, yeah, I give it to Kalani. She's young. She's fresh. Everybody else.
She's going to be in NXT for a while.
And so will Sol. But I think Sol Ruka would probably go. She's going to be the women's champion. I mean, I think she's that good.
Sure.
So Kalani, yeah, for her, yeah. I didn't think it'd be Lash because they still, and I didn't think it would be, what's her name with OTM out the mud, Miss Park. I didn't think it'd be
Out
Park.
the mud.
That's what OTM stands for. Out the mud. They were talking about because they struggled and they called their way out the mud. So
that's a terrible team name.
That's OTM. I mean, that's why they don't say it. I just say OTM, but that's
Gotcha. Okay.
I
thought you were making that shit up.
No, I didn't think that because remember when Scripps, who has been released, was with them. I'm not quite sold on the heel version of Fallon Henley.
Yeah, she was in that match, right?
Yeah, I'm not. Something's missing in that heel. She was good as the face, then they turned her heel, and it's like something. And she's trying. I mean, she's putting 100% in it, but something's missing.
You know, it might just be the need of a good babyface feud.
Could be,
you know,
or like you said about Gable. I think she just needs to go on a tear and just as.
Yeah, because unfortunately, one of the problems that NXT and any WWE program still has is it still feels like there's a bunch of 50-50 booking.
Yeah. So yes, Kalani was a good choice to go over. What were your favorite? I'm sorry, I treated my favorite songs over.
No. I like the whole match was interesting to me.
Nation was good, but I knew she wasn't going over anything.
I did find it weird that they brought down all of the OC except for AJ Styles, and they all lost.
And Meechin wasn't out there when the OC got called out to AJ's thing.
Like, yeah, she wasn't, but that's fine. She was already in a feud with NXT, and they talked to her earlier in the night, right?
Something else I didn't really.
And she's not really part of the group. Like,
and the only thing about this pay-per-view was lit. It wasn't the pay-per-view. It was this arena. It just looked.
It looked like a bigger version. It looked like a bigger version of the Performance Center.
I'm like, it just.
Well, you know what that building is, right?
It's UFC, is it?
Right, but you know what it got made for? When the pandemic was going on, the same thing that with the Performance Center.
I didn't know that.
They created this building so that they could actually continue all of their television contract stuff.
I didn't know that. It looked weird.
I didn't think it looked weird. I thought it looked like a bigger Performance Center. I didn't think there were enough seats in it. There were the stairways and stuff were way too wide.
I think that might have been. It didn't look
full. Yeah.
I think that's what I was like. Damn.
Yeah. Now I'll give you that. It did not look full.
That's what. Okay. Then we had the tag team championships. Nathan Frazier and Axum against the OC, which I thought the OC was going to win. But I'm kind of glad they didn't because that was a hell of a match.
Well, and I'm going to say the OC hasn't looked that good in WWE, I don't think, ever.
No.
Like, they were booked strong.
Yes.
However.
I like because I know you don't like when bigger guys bump for the little guys, but when he bumped.
Gallows?
It looked like, okay, that was something you would bump for. And it took a couple of them, but he bumped for them. He didn't bump like all the time. But when they hit significant moves on him,
like the time that Axiom went over the top rope and did a drop kick and just knocked him out. Yeah, absolutely.
It made sense for him. I know you don't like when bigger guys bump for little guys, and I see that, and that's why I'm saying I thought you would appreciate
how they did it.
Yes.
Yeah, because it was done.
It made sense.
It was timely. It was done after working a body part. You know, those types of things, But and then of course Gallows is sitting there with his hand out like this. So when he gets hit with a drop kick over here, like he didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
You know, so like it made sense. But again, to me that was the best match the OC's had in years.
Yeah.
Probably since the Boneyard match.
Wow.
Where they just got beat. Where they just got the shit beat out of them.
Let's see. The underground match was good, but I didn't understand the ending because she didn't. She was like this. She was just covering up. It's not like she was out and she couldn't defend herself. Lola was on top of her, hitting her, and she was covered up. But how did he say he just jumped and stopped the match?
I think what they were doing. So this past weekend, on Saturday, the UFC had an event, and one guy was put in like an armbar or whatever, and he wasn't tapping out, and the referee finally just called the match, right? And and like it's caused a lot of controversy. Actually, it was last weekend, it wasn't this weekend. But
that makes sense. He could have been passed out from the pain. Yeah, but
he
was like this.
But hold on, he was in the armbar or whatever move it was, and the dude was going to break his arm. Like it was turning the other direction. He was not tapping, and the referee finally stepped in and said, "But where the controversy comes from is that if somebody was standing up and they threw a punch and their wrist breaks or whatever from it, they're allowed to continue. They could have a completely broken arm,
right? Not
able to pull it up to defend or anything, and they don't call the match in that situation. Okay. With this, Shayna had that where her head and neck hit the steps.
Yeah.
She got rolled into the ring, and now Shayna's actual demeanor, because she is a real mixed martial arts fighter, was probably put the hands up. She was probably supposed to look incapacitated and getting hit. So if I had to guess, it's kind of like
that's the way it was written.
Yeah,
she was supposed. Okay,
she's and
referee was following the script. Shayna wasn't.
Well, but she
Shayna with the instinct, and the referee was following the script.
But I mean, like when you look at the match, like she started throwing everybody around the ring.
What the fuck is that? I think she got pissed because when she tried to throw, when she threw a little out, those people were like kind of there and they kind of caught her, and she's like, I wanted her to hit the floor. Fuck you. Fuck you.
I like the one where I don't where the Judas effect happened, and you just saw Shayna go. Like she just like it was
fun match. It was a good match.
You know what? Probably the best underground match they've done.
I was surprised they let Lola have it, but I'm like, Shayna, she's still coming up. She needed that.
So
Shayna didn't need that. Lola needed that.
Here's where I have an issue with it: is that Shayna's your first 2-time NXT Women's Champion.
Longest reigning. She keeps saying she was the longest reigning champion, but I thought it was awesome.
I think she had the most days overall because of the 2 reigns.
Okay.
Whereas Asuka, Asuka went up to the main roster with it. And see that's just it. Like you're talking about the most dominant woman or second most dominant woman ever in NXT, and yet she's losing to.
Well, because I think they're trying to push
Lola
up to that.
Of course they are. It makes me wonder though: is Shayna's contract almost up? Are they? Because now we've seen all 3 groups of people from the main roster lose on the same night.
Or, it's too soon. I was going to say they'll let Shayna and Zoe win the tag.
I think they have a good chance of it.
Okay. But that was a good match, too.
Absolutely. Much better than anticipated. And again, the whole card was like, I don't care what anybody says. That show was good.
Yeah. Well, what would you? I was an A plus.
A plus. I mean, A minus to an A.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a B show. Like it.
No.
Because we're getting ready to talk about
probably my favorite match of the night.
Okay.
The North American Championship. Obafemi, Wesley, and Joe Coffey. Just because Obafemi showed the fuck out. He showed out. I have so many favorite parts where he hit old dude with the power bomb on the apron.
And he bounced?
Yes. When the Gallus guys came out and they knocked him down and they got their back turned, all of a sudden from behind him, you see him just rise up. I was like, because even my mom didn't watch wrestling, when she stayed and watched it with me, and when he rose up, even my mom went, uh-oh.
You in for it now.
It was funny. All of a sudden, he popped up. My mom was like, uh-oh. She didn't even watch wrestling like that. She was into that one.
Wow.
She was into that match.
That's awesome.
She couldn't get over how big he was. I'm like, yeah, he's like 6'6", over 300 pounds. She's like, oh.
He's only been wrestling 6 months. Like,
and he is, but he's good.
He is. He's like Brock Lesnar in terms of how quickly he's picked it up and how instantly he is differentiated from everybody else.
Yeah, because when Dallas came out, who is that? She got mad. Who is that? I'm like, they're with him. She was into that match. It was so funny. It was cute.
That is. I didn't like that after the match, Wesley's angry backstage and then just gets like beat up. Like thanks Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Then we had the women's championship, Roxanne and Jordan.
Did you know that Jordan was the little girl from when Shawn Michaels was the chef?
I didn't. I sent you that. I don't know if that was real or not. Was that real?
As far as I know, well, because he was wearing the chef's outfit again, so I think it was.
That is hilarious if it's true. I didn't expect her to win because unless that's what I'm curious because this is the second time she's shown up. She was at the Rumble and she's here. So I was thinking, are they doing a cross?
Well, it's the fourth time she showed up because she obviously was there to make the match, and she had a match last week.
So
they are doing cross promotion, and it actually made me think of something.
And if she would have won the match, they could have had
more cross promotion. So, and that's what everybody thought was going to happen. They actually thought that Jordan Grace was going to win, take it to TNA, no surrender or whatever their next pay-per-view is, and have Roxanne actually have to win it back at that show.
That would have been awesome.
It would have. This did fine though because it still added the tension of different TNA people and different.
When Elegance by Ash came out, he had to catch him. It's Dana. I'm Elegant. That's why Elegance. He had to catch him.
See, and that's
he almost called her Dana Brooke.
I'll tell you what.
I don't know if that was on purpose or accident.
Well, I would love it. Okay, so I'm a Star Trek fan. So Lower Decks is their comedy cartoon that they keep in. It's actually in history with everything, but they make fun of everything in it, right? So, like, do you remember Voyager?
Yes.
Okay, there was a guy on that show named Tom Paris. So, red-haired, blondish guy. He was like the third in command on the ship, right? Okay. That same actor played someone in an episode of Next Generation where he was like Wesley Crusher's friend in the academy.
Right.
Right. Different character. So all of a sudden you find out that the one that was with Wesley Crusher is causing all this weird shit going on in the universe. And like he actually tries to get one of the Lower Deck people, Boimler, to join him, the one voiced by Jack Quaid. Right. So, and I'm getting to my point here. All of a sudden, the engineer who wears like an eyepiece sits there and goes, "Doesn't he look like Tom Paris?" Right. And everyone else, I don't see it. I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, they look exactly alike.
Okay.
And then they have the same voice. Like, it's a cartoon. It's the same. They have the same voice. It's even funnier. So I would almost want, because it's NXT and not the main roster, because if it was Pat McAfee, Pat McAfee would be like, "Doesn't that look a lot like?" Yeah. And all of a sudden be like, "I don't know who you're referring to, Pat," or like no, they're in the WWE alumni. They're not and because it's TNA and it's not like New Japan or something, these crossovers are going to have that. Yeah. Like Nick Nemeth. Nick Nemeth all of a sudden shows up on NXT again, who's a former NXT World Champion, by the way. If he shows up on NXT right now, do they call him Dolph Ziggler or do they call him Nick Nemeth? And this actually, I want to talk about this match a little bit. Okay. Because Jordan Grace obviously should have been the aggressor. Mm-hmm. Much bigger woman than Roxanne Perez, but Roxanne
just went at her.
She did. She used speed and she used precision to take down the bigger person. Again, totally acceptable as to how and why it happened. And then, of course, as the heel, waited till she was distracted, hit her with pop rocks. 1, 2, 3, match is over. And because of that, Jordan stays strong. Yeah. Roxanne keeps her belt. Ends that little feud, but I could totally see the other characters making their way over to, because Michin has been saying she wants to do stuff over there, and other people have expressed that they want to do stuff over there.
Elegance by Ash, Dana Brooks is supposed to be a #1 contender for that TNA title, so that makes sense that she came.
Well, it also makes sense that Jordan Grace laid her out.
Yeah,
So.
And then the old girl, because she came over, who was it? She used to hang out with. She came on the rail and grabbed the TNA belt. What's her name?
Yeah, because she started running out with it.
Yeah, because my mom like, who's that?
Yeah, I don't remember who it was, but
she used to hang out with what's her name? The
Brooks and Jensen.
No, she used to hang out with the she's on the main roster now. Valkyrie, Lyra Valkyrie. That's the chick was following her around. It's the same. I can't think of her name.
Oh,
that's who that is. But wait, I got the thing right. Tatum Paxley.
Yes.
Tatum Paxley. I got the thing right here in front of me. And then I was like looking, and I saw today what it was. I was looking like, who the fuck is bleeding? Because I saw the ref had the gloves. I saw the blood on.
I think it was Jordan. I think she was bleeding out. No.
For a second.
Oh yeah, her
she
ear.
lost her earring in Roxanne's tights. It got yanked out of her ear. That's where the blood was coming from.
So she posted on Twitter that she's retiring wearing earrings.
Yeah, that's the second time she's lost an earring in a match. You know what she's married to? She's married to Jonathan Gresham.
Yes.
Octopus.
Yes. So the idea of the TNA matches and TNA wrestlers showing up in NXT actually got me thinking.
I was wondering about that. Are they going to buy TNA? I was thinking.
No, I'm not even going to say that or anything. They could, but I'm not saying that right now. But no, it made me think. What if Ethan Page is actually TNA?
Well, he was TNA, and then he went to AEW because before he was AEW, he was a TNA because him and the bald dude, that was their champion forever, were a tag team called the North.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he could.
But what if he's actually a TNA wrestler? Like we don't know. Like
he signed a contract.
Well,
to get that title match, he's contacted it.
But he lost.
He signed a contract. He's not.
Like no, like they were even saying we didn't even know Ethan Page worked here, and it's possible he doesn't. I'm just saying there is a possibility because it could have been this will introduce him to the TNA crowd as well, because obviously the TNA watchers, I would assume, watched NXT. I'm not saying it is true. I do think that he signed to an NXT contract, but would be interesting if he's actually.
So here's my question: why you show up on your first night? Your first match is a title match. Are they doing big things? Are they going to plan on keeping him in the main event spot? Was it just something to go, ooh, you know what I'm saying?
All right, you want my real opinion as to why they do this with the AEW guys? Because they want bigger fish to come back.
NXT.
Hey, some of them that's the best they're gonna get. And some of them.
Cody went straight there. So did AJ
Styles.
So if the Undisputed came back, would they go back to NXT? You think they put him on the main roster?
Oh, they'd be main roster.
Yeah,
but that's because they were already about to be main roster.
Okay.
Like
you're saying getting some of those big names back.
Well, I'm saying that they put them in big spots now. Oh, hey, what are you? Oh, you're like Ethan Page wasn't even on AEW. He actually was relegated to just Ring of Honor.
Well, Sean Spears, they didn't put him in. Like they put him upper mid card. He's still mid card.
Yeah, but I don't think he cares at this point.
But you're saying trying to coach
Ethan Page wants to be something in the business, right?
Okay.
Lexus King wants to be something in the
your
business.
Statement was
I get
bring the people
but
back.
You were asking why this guy who hasn't had a match in NXT gets a title match.
Yeah.
Because one, I don't think they had anybody ready for the trick.
Excuse me.
They really didn't.
Everybody's on the roster now.
So they really didn't have anybody ready for him. So it was the perfect timing there. Two, I do think that someone like Ethan Page is young. He's hungry. He's got the look. And that promo that he put together actually makes me sit there and go, okay, maybe he's not ready for it today, but the promo he cut is a promo that you would have someone going for that NXT title.
I kind of half expect them, not now, but when Trick does drop it, he's going to drop it to probably Ethan Page, and because Trick's ready to go to the main roster too.
I don't think he is.
I think Oba is. I think Oba, he's not going to be too long before he's world champion in NXT too.
I think Oba is very protected right now. I don't think we're seeing his weaknesses. I think it's a testament to Shawn Michaels booking when he's booking well.
That's what they should have done to Omos, because they could have protected Omos.
You're absolutely right.
He reminds me kind of Omos.
Yeah, except Oba Femi looks more like a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
Omos looks like El Gigante.
But if they had protected him and done him right, he could have.
No, you're absolutely right, and they still can.
Mm-hmm.
They just need to figure out how to bring him back. Because I mean, the guy went 1-on-1 with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And the very next match was against Seth Rollins. Yeah. It's not like he wasn't getting big matches or whatever. It's just he wasn't winning the matches, right? So yeah, all right. Predictions for Clash, and we might not know all of the matches just because they might be announcing some tonight or Friday.
I went on Bleacher and got this supposedly is the latest.
Updated. Okay. Good.
And I'm just going in the order they get, so I don't know what order they're going to put in it, so I'm just going to read it like they have it.
Sure.
They got the women's champion. You got Piper against Bayley.
Probably going to open the show with that match. Bayley goes over, but Piper is strong throughout.
And I think Chelsea
could actually get Piper disqualified. I can see that.
Or make it look like Piper's going to win. You know what I mean?
Again, I just think that Piper loses.
She loses, but
they're going to make her strong. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They'll even have her come out after Bayley comes out, so that way she gets the bigger pop, and yeah, because she's going to be a babyface in that match.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Women's tag team championship triple threat. You got Alba Fire and Nala Dawn, who are both also from Scotland.
Yeah.
Shayna Baszler and her friend, and Zoe Stark, and then Jade and Bianca.
I don't see Bianca and Jade losing the belts yet, but it would be a good way to get them off of them without them losing the match.
Yeah.
So I can see Zoe Stark, or actually, depending on, again, I don't know when Shayna Baszler's contract's up, but it's starting to look like it's getting close. I could see either them eating the pin and Alba Fire and Isla Dawn actually winning back those belts.
Okay.
I could see it. I still expect Jade and Bianca to win, but I could see that. I can't see Shayna and Zoe winning that match.
Intercontinental, Sammy and Chad. I think Sammy goes over because Otis finally turns.
I think this really does depend on Chad Gable's contract status.
Okay.
If Chad Gable's signed, Chad Gable goes over. And I could see either way it being because of Otis. So I could see Otis getting involved and actually causing Sammy to lose.
So you don't see him turning on him yet?
I actually see him re-upping with Chad and actually getting mean again.
Oh, okay. Undisputed Championships, Styles and Cody.
I think it'll be an amazing match with it being an I Quit match, because obviously the OC is going to get involved.
Okay.
Because with it being no DQ or I Quit, it's going to be a no DQ, so they can come down and do whatever they want.
Damian and Drew. Bleacher says Priest.
I think so too. I just think right now they haven't presented Priest as a champion very well. And I think that Drew instantly would look the role of the champion. Now, at the same time, you know what I do, and here's where I hate the Dusty finishes, is that I could totally see CM Punk screwing Drew.
Well, he did that already at Mania.
Right, but he's been gone for long enough to where you aren't supposed to think that could happen.
I don't know. I think Priest goes over. I think that you're right. They haven't really done anything to make him look strong as a champion. So I don't think he needs to. I think he needs to win this match and go on, like everybody's been saying tonight, just go on a tear.
I mean, it's possible that Punk could actually sit there and help Drew win the title. That way, like when he comes out on Monday night and he sits there and he goes, "You needed me to win that belt, and now I want my shot, and I want it at SummerSlam."
And then Drew loses it again.
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Well, they got to prove that Punk could actually make it a couple months without getting hurt before they give him a belt. Anything catch your eye on AEW this week? I want to talk about the MJF promo.
Oh yeah, go for it.
He started by shilling merch. It's the last time I shill. It's the last time I shill, and then he shills again. Is that the Jew in him? And I'm not even trying to say that as like a thing that could get me canceled or anything. But he's the one that says stuff like that.
No remarks made by Rob Potsy.
Shut up.
It's not.
But it's a serious question, because obviously him being Jewish, that like he's made fun of that as part of his character, just like Paul Heyman has made fun of it being part of his character, just like Brock Lesnar's made fun of it being part of Paul Heyman's character. What is he supposed to be?
You don't know, just like he was last time. He was a tweener last time. They're still cheering and they're still saying he's our scumbag. He called out everybody. He called out heels and faces. So I don't know, but I know he got a Swerve's attention because Swerve said something about it in his little backstage promo. So I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, a week after Swerve actually gets to look like a real world champion, he gets a backstage promo.
Something did catch my eye. I like the combination of Hook and Samoa Joe.
A lot of people do.
I like that. And Joe's kind of mentoring him because, you know, who was it? The Premier Athletes came out and he's like, "Oh, you need your daddy," and then Hook goes and Joe, and he goes, "Oh, okay, now you got the somebody a washed out has been champion," and Joe holds him back again, and Hook just got his toboggan, and he's like, so I'm waiting to see how that goes, because Joe was because I don't know if you saw Collision.
Mm-mm.
So the Premier Athletes had their match, the squash match. And then and then a couple of segments later, you see Joe. I laughed. I'm gonna tell you why. It was Joe and Hook, and somebody was holding the camera. He goes, "Hey, speak and spell. You got that camera going?" And you know how he's got that thing. He goes, "I got it." You know, he's got order sounds like Siri. "I've got it. It is good." And so he's talking to him, and they're walking in the hall, and Joe's like, "Hey, so how's across the sport? Is it true it's the oldest sport?" And I was like, "Yes." He goes, "I just don't get it." He said, "How can a sport that's across between hockey and soccer," and they're having this conversation, and then he hit at his door, and after they're done like the little argument, he goes, "Okay, you ready for this?" He goes, "Yeah." And he opens the door, and it's Premier Athlete's dressing room, and he goes, "Hey, remember us?" And they proceed to beat the shit out of him. But it was funny just walking in the hall.
Yeah, because we're just having a conversation.
And they beat the Hook, and then they grab Mark Sterling, and Joe goes, "Hook, watch this." And he goes, "Are you listening to me?" And he's like, and Sterling's like, "Yes, yes." He goes, "We did this to you, right?" And he walks out. And the best part of that is who was it? Nick doesn't speak English, but he's got the phone. Who was that?
I know who you're talking about. Shibata.
And all of a sudden you hear Ivan go, "There is no crying in wrestling." To Mark Sterling. Oh my god!
Oh, that's.
If you gotta we gotta just watch that segment, dude. It is so funny. There's no crying in wrestling.
I might have to look that one up. That's hilarious.
It was priceless.
So can I tell you one thing that I absolutely can't stand about AEW right now?
Tell me.
Jericho.
Hi. hi. And that's a word that'll get me canceled. I can't say it anymore. But
you want me to mute it so that they can't hear you say it?
Am I right?
Yes.
Hi.
I believe the word you're looking for is Eugene.
Okay.
Because he's doing the
And it probably read my lips, so I'm sorry.
That's why we muted it. You know, we went to the 7-second delay on that one.
You're right. It aggravates me to no end.
So apparently the character itself is supposed to be the know-it-all veteran, and he's now utilizing that to the point where it is
nauseating.
It is.
I can't stand it.
And you know what? Jericho normally gets everything he does over. And this is something where, like, the please retire chants really are starting to make me feel like that is what needs to happen. Mr. Helios just wrote Eugene.
Yes.
If you know what he's like, and you know, if you do this, make sure that you do it right. Bye.
I want to reach to my screen and choke him. And you know what? He's doing his job. If it makes me feel like that, he's doing his job.
But if you remember, right before he started this thing, he was supposed to be a babyface. and like he realized that nobody was cheering him. They were telling him to retire, so he's like, "No, I don't want to retire.
Leave me alone."
Like it's so weird when you see that. Okay, he's 50-something years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Christian Cage is 50-something years old, and I just watched the Chris Van Vliet video with him today, right?
Cage.
Yes.
Okay.
The one where like he goes, you know, I could be your father, and he goes, I have a father, and he goes, is he doing his job? Because you could use a stepdad
on Collision. Speaking of this, because this weekend on Collision, you know, Christian Cage is coming out with a Father's Day address.
Yes.
So that is coming. Yes. Oh my God.
Yes. As well he should. So you haven't seen the Van Vliet interview with him?
Mm-hmm.
So he sits there and he goes, do you ever get notes about like what you're supposed to go out there and say, or does anybody ever like tell you that you're not allowed to say something? He goes, I don't ever tell anybody what I'm going out there to say.
Smart man.
I just go out there and I say it.
Smart man.
And one of the best things that he said during the interview was that he goes, Christian and Christian Cage are two completely different people. He was like, Christian Cage has never been in a WWE ring. Christian has. So like Christian Cage was in TNA and now he's in AEW. He's never been in a WWE ring. He is a completely different persona. And when you think about it, he obviously is.
I like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's profound, right?
Wow. Okay.
It literally makes you sit there and go, wow, okay, like that makes more sense. And of course, Van Vliet sits there and says,
kind of like, it blew my mind. What?
And he was like, when you went to TNA, you were like one of the first to actually go. He's like, yeah, I went before Kurt. Mm-hmm. And he's like, and Van Vliet's like, did you feel like you were stuck? And he goes, I knew exactly the moment that I had to leave. And he said, I was doing stuff with John Cena. And I was calling out the peeps. The Rock had given me the okay to sit there and say that the peeps were mine now and all this. And he goes, and then all of a sudden they added someone else to our matches. And it was like, and then I did a program with Batista. And we went overseas and we were in London. And they were booing Batista and they were cheering me. But when it showed up on TV, all of that was gone. And I knew that was the moment I needed to get out.
Well, they took out the cheering him.
They switched the boos and the cheers on TV because obviously it was taped and Vince wanted Batista to be the biggest babyface at that point, at least on that brand because you know they were switched. And he said, and then he goes, but then you came back. And he goes, yeah, at that point, I was ready to come back. I was ready to sit there and do new things. I obviously became a 2-time WWE champion. I was an ECW champion, so did a lot of things. And but then they started talking about, remember during the pandemic when he was supposed to have the unsanctioned match with Randy Orton and Randy punted him?
I think so, yeah.
And he goes, and it was the highest rated segment that they'd had in months. And it's because people really wanted me to have a match, and I wasn't cleared, so they weren't going to let me actually have a match. But they were able to protect me with the punt kick or whatever. But that's when I started thinking it's really time to do this and get back in shape and want to do it. And I didn't tell it, just like Edge, I didn't tell anybody I was doing it. I didn't I just started working out, started trying to get in the best shape. And apparently he does planking now, and actually created a plank that has 2 arm things that you can move the arms and whatever. So he's like, well, we learned by me wanting to have this, because he actually worked with a company to make the plank device. He was like, we wanted more padding on it so that your arms don't slip when you get all sweaty. But by putting the grips on it, we realized that the harder you actually grip it, the harder the actual whole exercise is.
Okay.
And he's like, and it's a full core body workout just by planking for minutes at a time. So he's like, you will get in the best shape in your life by doing this. So him and Edge actually created this device that you can buy online, and they're in the commercials and everything else for it, which is funny because obviously they hate each other right now.
Yeah.
But of course, Van Vliet's also asking him things. He's like, hey, I really appreciate you hooking me up with one of those and giving me the promo code CBV if you want to order one. But then he starts talking. He goes back into talking about saying whatever you want on AEW TV, and he's like, did you ever think that you'd be able to say fuck on AEW television? And he goes, the way that I got that was that I was talking to somebody randomly, and they just looked at me and said, go fuck yourself. And I was like, that's awesome. I'm going to use that. And that's what he did.
Nothing else on AEW really caught my eye. I mean, it's still the same old. Christopher Daniels is now EVP. So
interim. But he does seem to have more power than the other ones.
Because he was Tony. What I'm worried about is at some point Tony Khan is going to come back and pull a Eric Bischoff.
And he's going to join them
and he's going to have all that. And I don't want to see his dad on TV trying to be, because his dad's the only one that could come up really. And you know what I'm saying? Really, I mean, he's the president of the company. Who was over him that can knock him into place, right? There's no Linda McMahon. I mean, he might be married, but you know what I mean? But you know what I mean?
Yes.
How does that end if he does that?
Well, there's a couple ways it could end. He could see the error in his ways and finally come back to the light side, because he's like, I can't believe we've been doing this or whatever. Like this was supposed to be about ratings and we're not getting ratings. So why am I still doing, could be something that dumb.
I thought about the other day, what if he does come back and pull a Bischoff?
I think we have a more likely opportunity if Okada goes to his side or something like that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden him and Kenny are fighting the rest of the elite, or
even if Jack Perry goes back to his side, because in the collision, I hadn't watched it, so it had to be collision where Dustin challenged him, and he's like, yeah, and you came back and you attacked the boss, the man who brought you back with open arms, and trying to. So I'm wondering if that was planting a seed, but it might not be. I might just be reading into it.
I mean, if Tony Khan ever actually wanted to get in the ring, he could do a diamond cutter and call it the TKO like Mark Miro used to.
And that's our show.
Did you know that Mark Miro stole that from Christian? It's part of the interview. He took Christian out to dinner to ask if he could use the move.
I'm done.
If you haven't watched that interview, folks, it's great.
I'm done.
Okay, I got one more thing.
Oh, Jesus.
No, and I'll try to make it quick. So the Undertaker started his 6 Feet Under podcast. Right?
I love that thing.
So I love all of it.
I only see bits because I see it on YouTube.
So I love all of it, except when he wants to talk about his sponsorship.
Oh no, I've never seen those.
So he's sponsored by Blue Chew. So listening to the Undertaker sit there and go, WrestleMania weekend came up and Mrs. Undertaker wanted the Undertaker to sit up out of the coffin.
I don't want to hear this.
And he literally is telling a story like that, and he's like, "But my friends at Blue Chew were able to help me get that little Undertaker back up and running." And I'm like, I don't want to hear it either. But so I say this to somebody, and they go, "Well, Rob, you gotta think that the people that are listening to an Undertaker podcast probably need Blue Chew too."
I think one of my favorite. I had a couple of favorite, but I don't know if he was on Busted Open or he just happened to have Bully Ray on there. And Bully Ray was telling the story.
This was on Busted Open.
Bully Ray was telling the story where he did the thing to Mae Young, and he said sitting there and he rolled his eyes back, and he said he got backstage and he said somebody just handed him
Pritchard handed him the phone.
He goes, "Hey kid, only one person does the eye roll gimmick." And he was
So he told Bully Ray told another story.
That story made me laugh.
That same day. And he was like, "I got one other story to talk about, boss." And he keeps calling him boss. He's like, "I got one other story to talk about." And the Undertaker's like, "All right, well, go ahead. You started it. Go ahead and tell everybody." And he goes, me and Devon were sitting there at the top of the card wrestling you and Kane, Brothers of Destruction versus Dudley Boys, and we wrestled like 21 days in a row, like every day it was the same match. And one night I just forgot, and I chopped you. And he goes, "Dave, I gotta tell you,"
he hates chops.
Like, if you're Ric Flair, you can get away with a chop on the Undertaker. If you're Triple H, you can get away with a chop on the Undertaker. If you're the Big Show, you can get away with. I was a tag team wrestler, and I'm sitting there, and when I did it, he looked down at his chest. He looked back up at me, and he goes, "I'm gonna whip you in. You're gonna come out. You're gonna catch the big boot." And he goes, "Yes, sir." And he whips Bully Ray, and Bully Ray goes slamming into the ropes, comes back out. And Bully Ray said that as the Undertaker walked out to sit there and give him the big boot, Bully Ray just yelled out, "Receipt!" And for those that don't know, a receipt is when you actually get your potato back.
Yeah.
And by potato, I mean getting hit by the.
They get his lick back.
Yeah, they get their lick back. So, Tino. That's it. I'm done too. So, what do you got? Where can they find you?
You can find me on X.
Hootie Fan 91.
Yeah, because I keep saying Twitter and then I forget. Hootie Fan 91. You can find me on Snap. I'm SC Tino. You can find me on Insta SC Tino. You can find me on TikTok. That is Tino Great Music. And that's it.
Okay. Obviously, the show here is youtube.com/Rob Pochak. We're on Twitch as well, Rob Potsy Pochak. On TikTok, Rob Potsy Pochak. Instagram, Rob Pochak and Rob Potsy Pochak. And on Twitter or X, I am Pochak. We're obviously on Facebook as the Potsy and Tino Show. And that's where you can get all the latest updates about like whether or not we're going to be on that night, what exactly we're going to talk about from time to time, things like that. Theme song is always brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called The Wrestling Song. It's available for 99 cents. And I believe if you listen closely, you might hear them playing that song in just a moment. Which one's the outro? Is that...
You're watching Potsy and Tino.
For the Potsy and Tino show.
Thanks for watching.